Hi, my name is Pascal, and I was a former member of the electric car cult. Today, I'm doing much better. I'm more realistic of my expectations of my vehicles, and I'm less judgmental of the ICE community, the internal combustion community. We call them the ICE community just because it all started with just some honest research. I mean, it was just honest research. I wasn't trying to get into anything. I, I I'm a frugal guy. I wanted to save some money, and and I like cars too. That's that's the way it really started. I didn't want to do anything, and I was just done spending a lot of money on gas. In addition, I love fishing and camping. I love the outdoors. So I love the idea of saving the environment. So that whole draw of it being good for the earth was very attractive to me. It was very alluring. It was seductive. So if I could burn less fossil fuels, that'd be fantastic. You know, the electrics, they would always talk about how they would brag about how they would never spend a dime on gas again, and how every morning they wake up and the car is fully charged and it's ready to go. But it's just it, I was like, wow, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I, I wanted that. I wanted that. I wanted to save some money. I wanted to save the environment. I wanted that new shiny car too. Those Teslas look fantastic. So I did it. I did it. I went out and I bought myself an electric car, and it was at first it was great. I thought it was fantastic. I started slow. I started plugging it at home at 110, and then I started to plug in at work. Then I I even started plugging in when I was shopping. I was plugging in all the time. So I went out and I got a 220, man, because 110 just wasn't enough juice for me. I needed more. I needed more. And after a while, even the 220 at home wasn't enough. I needed more. I needed the supercharger. And when I bought my car, my first 1,000 miles was free off the supercharger. The first one's free, first 1,000 miles. Man, that supercharger was fast, and it got it got the battery high fast. But then came the anxiety. Uh, I thought I was supposed to live guilt free, but then I started to develop anxiety. It was range anxiety. I was never really secure in whether I had enough juice to get me there and get me back, or get me there and get me somewhere else, somewhere else. Did I have enough? It always made me so conscious, and I was just so anxiety ridden. Every trip I took, I was just like, am I going to get home? How am I going to get home? Where am I going to go that will allow me to charge some more and get another hit so I could make it back home? I, Range anxiety, it's a real thing. It, not only was I trying to top off on the juice all the time, I was afraid I didn't have enough juice all the time. And then you start to cut things out of your life. You didn't make that extra stop. You didn't meet that extra friend because heck, you may not even make it home. I mean, you got to have enough juice to get home. That was very important. Uh, I was jonesing for the juice. And then I started getting the bills. I didn't even understand it. I mean, I'm not buying the heathen gasoline anymore. I should be saving a ton of money, right? Apparently, I used so much juice that I was paying the higher tier levels of my electricity. So, I would be paying a higher rate of electricity than I did before I got the car. So I thought I was supposed to be saving a ton, but I didn't understand it. The electric said, "Oh, you still pay less than than when you were a non-believer. You still pay less, and besides, even if you pay the same as the non-believers, you're still more holy than them because you are saving the environment." Yes, I admit it. My zeal was boosted knowing that I was doing my part to save the environment, and it felt great to be part of the solution. Yeah, I'm clearly better than the ice sinners out there. Clearly, that was what I led myself to believe. But it later came to my attention that electricity it was derived from fossil fuels and natural gas. So I was so naive. I mean, I just thought water falling over a cliff was going to supply the world with all the electricity we needed. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Mm. So when I mentioned this to a longtime electric cult member, as always, I got reassurance that I'm making good progress in my spiritual journey. I'm doing good. Oh no, the electric said, you need to buy solar panels to be real to really save money. If you really want to save money, and you could get the juice for free. Oh, so now I thought I never had to spend a dime on gas, but now I gotta pay money to get solar panels to get my juice for free. Well, they preach that for me to truly save money, to I need not only to spend more money to buy an electric car, but I needed to spend more money to buy solar panels. Then I would be a pure disciple. The bills, they continued, the payments, the electricity, the panels. But then came another bill I was yet to find out about. And that bill came in the form of insurance. The electrics never told me that uh, my insurance would not only go up because I'm driving a higher priced car, but my car was considered an exotic. So my insurance was extra high. It's like I'm driving a Ferrari or something like that. So my insurance rates were higher than they've ever been my whole life. So apparently, the insurance companies are afraid that the repairs, if there is, it's supposed to be a maintenance-free car, but if there's ever any repairs required, the insurance companies were afraid that it would cost them a ton. Therefore, they were charging me a higher premium. The electrics never told me that. So I was spiraling. I was everything I taught a lie. Was my life as a financially responsible environmental saint a lie? I was spending more. I was not really saving the environment. I was still using fossil fuel just like everybody else. Uh, I I don't even want to talk about the potential for battery waste footprint when I'm done with this car. What are they going to do with this battery? Uh, I thought I found my home among the electrics, but I was lost. I was more lost than I ever was before. I started thinking a little bit, remembering, looking back, looking at past relationships, and I remembered her. I loved her for a long time, but I broke it off because, well, because she demanded so much fuel, and I, it was just too expensive for me. It was too expensive for us to go out. I, I still remember her raised suspension and big wheels. I could fit in the back of her bed or climb through any one of her four doors. She had 6 cylinders, and she took me everywhere I wanted to go. I loved Tanya. She was a Toyota Tacoma. I love Toyotas. I love trucks. I loved her. How did I let her get away? Then one day, I saw her. For the first time I laid my eyes on her, I knew she was different. Could she be the love that I've searched for? I was like Goldilocks, and she was the perfect fit. She was a truck, but different. She wasn't like the other trucks. She wasn't so hefty. She was sleek and petite. She wasn't so demanding like the other trucks. She had good parents. She really did. Her father was an ice motor, and her mother was an electric motor. She was both. She was beautiful. She was the one to break me from my delusion. She got me out of it. She brought me through this. My Ford Maverick Hybrid. I call her 51 because Area 51 is her color. So I call her 51 for short. She didn't demand all my money. No, actually, she got. I got money back when I broke up with Tess. When I traded Tess in, I got more money, and I was able to bring Tanya home. So it was perfect. I actually got some money back. My electricity bill went down. My insurance went down. It was so nice. It was so nice. It was nice not to be a snob towards the ICE people I saw around. I finally felt like I truly belonged. Yeah, but I was afraid. I was afraid I would desire the juice again. 110, 220, supercharged, whatever. I was still afraid that I would want it back. But 51, she convinced me. I was not spending too much time refueling her at all, and when I did, she didn't ask too much. No. She made me realize that, the 30 minutes I spend at a supercharger on a long trip, that's I could refill Test 6 times for that, 30 minutes easily. So, dollar per mile electricity, it wasn't that much less. It was better, but it wasn't that much better than a hybrid like her. It wasn't worth all the hassle. So there was no way, if I kept Tess, that I would ever save enough money on miles to make up for the difference. So if the issue was saving money, I had to spend more to get Tess, And I would never make up the difference between Tess and 51. So even when you look at it like that, 51 comes out way ahead. So she was right. You know, she was right. She was the one. She was the perfect girl for me. She is the perfect girl for me. Well, if she had a plug, then she'd be even more perfect.